We've got the latest Chiefs updates just for you, and I'll be giving you all the details as they happen. So if you want to stay in the loop, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because you don't want to miss out on what's coming. And hit that like button. We have something exciting to talk about today that could shake things up for our offense and help Patrick Mahomes even more this season. Let's get right to it. Now, let's get started. The Chiefs are up 5-0, but let's be honest, we've had some tough times, and the offense isn't exactly firing on all cylinders. We're dealing with some serious injuries. Isaiah Pacheco is out indefinitely after fibula surgery. Rashee Rice's knee injury could sideline him for the rest of the year, and Hollywood Brown is out for the regular season with a shoulder issue. Mahomes is holding 1,235 passing yards, but only 6 touchdowns and a worrisome 6 interceptions. That's not the Mahomes we know, is it? The guy needs more weapons, and fast. Here's where things get interesting. Bleacher Report has reported a trade proposal that would send Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins to Kansas City. Now, before you get too excited, remember, the Bengals are 1-4, so if they continue to tank, Higgins could become available. Higgins is a beast. He's a 2-time 1,000-yard receiver and would be a huge boost for Mahomes. Yes, he was somewhat overshadowed by Ja'Marr Chase and Cincy, but make no mistake, this guy can play. The only problem? Higgins is expensive. He's on a $21 million franchise tag this year and is projected to sign a 5-year, $99 million contract as a free agent. That's a lot of money, but the question is it worth giving Mahomes a player like Higgins who could open up the offense again? The Chiefs will definitely be exploring the wide receiver market ahead of the November 5th trade deadline, but it seems like they're not as interested in making a push for Raiders star Davante Adams, who is also on the market. Higgins, though, at just 25, he has more potential and fits better into the long-term plan, even if he's going to cost us. So, Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Should we go all in on T. Higgins and give Mahomes the help he deserves, or do you think we should stick with what we have and hope our injured players recover? Let me know in the comments what you think of this potential blockbuster trade. We have a few important things to talk about today, specifically, a familiar face who's climbing the Chiefs' all-time rushing charts, Kareem Hunt. He's back, and he's got some unfinished business here in Kansas City. Now, let's rewind a bit. Remember Kareem Hunt's explosive start with the Chiefs in 2017? He led the entire NFL in rushing as a rookie, racking up yards on the ground and showcasing his skills as a pass catcher. He quickly became one of the most dynamic running backs in the league, and it seemed like his career in KC was set for the stars. Hunt was climbing the Chiefs' all-time rushing charts, and after just 27 games, he was already knocking on the door of the franchise's top 15 rushers. But then, as we all know, it all came crashing down. Hunt made some big mistakes off the field, and it cost him his spot on the team. He's owned up to those mistakes and has been open about how much it means to him to get this second chance with the Chiefs. After spending 5 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, Hunt has returned to Kansas City and is now focused on picking up where he left off, not just on the field, but in Chiefs history. So how has Hunt fared since his return? Well, in his first game back in red and gold, he did not disappoint. He rushed the ball 14 times for 69 yards in a solid win over the LA Chargers. Then, on Monday Night Football, he really turned heads with a 102-yard performance on 27 carries, adding a touchdown to his stat sheet. Chiefs Kingdom, he's back and he's making moves. When Hunt returned to the Chiefs, he ranked 17th on the team's all-time rushing leaderboard with 2,151 yards. After just 2 games, he's already passed some familiar names like Tony Reed, Kimball Anders, and Barry Ward to claim the 14th spot. With just 23 more rushing yards, he'll move up to 13th place, passing Ted McKnight. And here's where it gets even more interesting. If Hunt stays healthy and racks up about 400 more rushing yards this season, which is entirely possible with 12 games remaining, he could crack the top 10 all-time in rushing yards for the Chiefs. That's right, Kareem Hunt could be back in the top 10 by the end of this season. Pretty crazy, right? But that's not all. Hunt is also climbing the rankings in rushing touchdowns. Upon his return, he had 15 rushing scores, which put him in a 4-way tie for 14th on the Chiefs' all-time list. After Monday night's game, where he found the end zone again, he's now tied for 13th. With just 3 more rushing touchdowns, he'll pass Donnell Bennett, Wendell Hayes, and Curtis McClintock to enter the top 10. And if we zoom in to look at total touchdowns, Hunt is also moving up the list. Before Monday's game, he was tied with Eddie Kennison at 25 touchdowns. After his rushing score, Hunt is 21st on the Chiefs' all-time list, just 3 touchdowns behind Frank Jackson in 20th. For a little context, Priest Holmes is the all-time leader with 83 touchdowns, so Hunt has some work to do, but he's making solid progress. So, Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Do you believe Kareem Hunt can continue to climb the Chiefs' all-time rankings and finish in the top 10? How do you feel about his return and his potential impact on the team this season? What's going on with Sky Moore? After another disappointing performance in the Chiefs' 26-13 win over the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football, fans are starting to wonder, why is Sky Moore still on the roster? We all know the Chiefs' offense was on fire all game long, with Juju Smith-Schuster excelling and Mecole Hardman and rookie Xavier Worthy also making plays. Patrick Mahomes threw for over 300 yards for the first time this season, and it finally felt like the offense was clicking again. But amid all this excitement, one player's continued struggles stand out, Sky Moore. Now, let's be honest. After a rough sophomore season, most of us expected to see more of Moore in 2024. With injuries sidelining key players like Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown, it was time for Moore to shine. But here we are, several weeks into the season, and Moore has yet to record a single reception. And to make matters worse, the only time he made headlines was for a missed kick return that nearly turned into a fumble. It's not just a bad game. Remember the game against the Chargers? Moore dropped a crucial third-down pass that hit him square in the hands. As Chiefs fans, we expect more, especially when our receiving core is banged up and we need every player to step up. So why is Sky Moore still around? Sure, you could say he's cheap and still on his rookie contract. You could argue he's WR6 on the depth chart, so we shouldn't expect much from him. But here's the thing, every player on the roster, no matter where they are in the pecking order, should be able to contribute when called upon. That's the bare minimum expectation for anyone in the NFL, and yet Moore continues to fall short. He's not even playable as a backup, and with the injuries we've had at receiver, we need someone who can step in and fill those snaps. Moore's inability to make plays in critical situations, whether as a receiver or on special teams, raises serious questions about why he's still holding a valuable roster spot. What makes this even more frustrating is that we've seen the Chiefs rotate receivers, trying to find answers. Last year, we were constantly rotating players, and yet Moore has yet to show that he's capable of contributing. We're now in the 3rd year of his career, and if he can't produce now, when will he? Labeling Moore as good depth just because he's young and on a rookie contract ignores the reality. He's not helping the team. And with Brett Veach reportedly growing frustrated with Moore's lack of development, it seems like we may be nearing the end of Moore's time in Kansas City. After his latest mistake on Monday Night Football and with the Chiefs clearly in need of a reliable receiver, it's becoming harder to justify keeping Moore around. He's had his chances, and in a game where other players have excelled, Moore's continued struggles only make it more obvious that he has no future here. But what do you think, Chiefs fans? Is it time for the team to move on from Sky Moore? Or do you think he can still turn things around? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of the latest Chiefs news. Thanks for watching. Let's go, Chiefs!